Alright, in this particular tutorial we're going to be talking about navigating 123D design as well as adding primitives. I'm actually going to start with adding primitives so we have something to look at. Your primitives are located up here on your toolbar. So we have different ones. We have box, sphere, cylinder, cone, torus, wedge, prism, pyramid, hemisphere. So you also have two-dimensional shapes. We're not going to talk about those yet. But the primitives are pre-created 3D shapes. So let's start with a box. You'll notice that before I even place it, it's kind of following my mouse. Well, what I would suggest first with a primitive is to change the dimensions first, as it's going to be a lot easier to do that rather than changing them later. So if you know the size of the box, like let's say I want to make a 30 by 10 by 10 box. I can do that, and I've changed it. It's still not placed yet until I click, and then the bottom face of my rectangular prism is now set on the grid. So same thing with all my other shapes. Like with a cylinder, you have a radius and a height. I can change those. If I want to make it thinner, I can do that. I can change the height so that it's smaller, click and place. And you can do that with all your other shapes as well, even the wedge. Okay, and you can also place by pressing the Enter key. Okay, so now I have three shapes, and let's talk about how to navigate, how to move around if I want to view things differently. So if I want to move things around, what I'm going to do is I am going to use a couple of different things. So I'm going to first show you the navigation cube here. This is a cube that's going to help you view the different parts of your graphics window. This view cube kind of represents your graphics area, your graphics volume. And so with that, I can view faces. If I want to view the left side view of everything, it's going to show me a left side view. If I want to flip it around to the front view, I can do that. If I want to view a side or an edge, I can do that. If I want to view a corner, I can do that. Let me show you an edge. There you go. So that's an edge view, showing equally the left and the front view. You can always go back to the home here, which will take everything that you have and put it into one view. You can also here toggle back and forth between orthographic and perspective views. You see how it changes from something that looks more like what our eyes see versus what a computer might see. Okay, so that's the navigation cube, or the view cube. So here we have the navigation panel. We can do a couple of things here. We can pan, which moves left to right, up to down. We can orbit. You notice if I click inside this little circle, it can orbit in all three dimensions. However, if I move my mouse out here, it will rotate in this direction. If I move my mouse up to the top or to the bottom, it will rotate up and down. And if I move my mouse over here, you will notice that it rotates left and right. Okay, so you can use a combination of those things to change your view. I can press Escape to get out of that and go back to my home view. A lot of the times I will go back to my home view. Okay, I can also zoom, pressing to go up, in and out. I can also, if I'm either far out or far in, I can use the Fit to press everything into view. I can also press F on the keyboard to do that. You notice if you see things in parentheses like that, that's a shortcut on the keyboard. Okay, our next thing that we want to learn how to do is with the mouse. So with the mouse, you can actually do a couple of things. If I scroll using the scroll on my mouse, I can zoom in and I can zoom out. If I press down on that scroll, I can pan. Also, if I do a combination of pressing and holding the Shift key, as well as pressing and holding the scroll on my mouse, I can orbit. Now this is what I tend to use because my hands are typically on the keyboard and on the mouse, so it's just easier for me. But you do whatever is easier for you. So take these things and go ahead and play around with it for a little bit, or try and figure it out yourself.